You're listening to the Master Passive Income Podcast Network. Welcome to the free real estate investing course with me, Dustin Heiner, host of the Master Passive Income Podcast, and I'm going to help you to become a successful real estate investor. In this course, I'm going to be giving you step-by-step how to invest in real estate, and I kid you not, I currently sell this course for $500. It's a video course. Now, there is a couple other things in there, or a lot of other things inside there, but this is the meat of it. I sell this course for $500 on my website, masterpassiveincome.com. Well, because I love podcasting, my Master Passive Income podcast that I've had for, 8 years now, just solo show teaching you how to invest in real estate, I decided I wanted to give this away for free on here because I love podcasting, because you found this. And so you can get all of this if you go to my site and pay $500 right now, or you can go to my site and get the rest of it for free. I'm going to give you my free real estate investing course in PDF so you can download, plus other great goodies if you text the word rental to 33777. Rental to 33777. I'll give you my real estate investing course completely for free with a whole bunch of other bundles of good stuff. If you go to masterpassiveincome.com/free course, going to give you that as well. And I would love it if you get anything out of this, that you would give this a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify and share it with one person, because my goal is to help 1 million people to invest in real estate. Hopefully you are one of them, and then your friends are as well. And let's get into this next lesson. All right, let's get started. This is day 3 of the real estate investing course. Now, you're going to be amazed at how your life is going to change with rental properties and investing in real estate. So this is day 3. Let's jump right into it. We need to learn how to think like a rich person. Now, if you think like a poor person, then you'll remain poor. So let's look at thinking like a rich person. We all know the saying, you want to work smarter, not harder. Well, stop trading hours for dollars. When you're working a job, you're actually trading 1 hour of your life for money that your employer is going to be paying you. So that's working hard. Now, if you're working smart, you're going to work 1 hour and then get paid continually month after month for that 1 hour of work. When I buy a rental property, I'll spend 3 hours, maybe 4 hours at most, finding, buying, and getting my property managers working on the properties and then getting it rented. So literally 4 hours. And then after that, I continually have that one property that's making money for me every single month from that 4 hours of work. Isn't that amazing? So instead of getting paid money for just that 4 hours of work one time, I'm continually getting paid month after month after month. It's absolutely amazing. So stop trading hours for dollars with your job. Now, we want to think about having our mindset changed, remember? So at the end of the month, is there not enough money at the end of the month where there's more month at the end of the money? What you want to do is stop trading your hours for dollars. So no more of that. So I want you to remember this. Your job, J-O-B, equals just over broke. There's a reason why your boss only pays you a certain amount, because that's what he or she believes you're worth. But at the same time, any more, they'll be cutting into their profits. They want to pay you just enough to keep you working and make money from you and not have you quit and not overpay you so that they're losing money. So remember, job equals just over broke. You're barely going to be making money, so you're living over broke. Also, employees trade hours for dollars. So if you're any type of employee, be it an hourly employee, a salary employee, any type of employee at all, you're going to be trading 1 hour of work versus actually trading your value that you bring. And I'll get into a little bit of that in a minute. You have limited time to work. Being an employee, or actually being a human, there's only 24 hours in a day. You can only work so many jobs in those 24 hours. If you have one job that works you 40 hours a week, well, you only have so many more hours that you get a second job or a third job. Or if you're pretty amazing, you could have 4 jobs where you spend all of your time actually working, but you can only work one job at a time. So your time is limited and your time is precious. Remember, we talked about in the last section, yesterday, day number 2, that your time, the accumulation of all your time is your life, and how you spend your life and how you spend your time is very important. It's the most expensive thing that you'll be able to spend. Your employer looks at you as an employee as a commodity. You can come and go. They don't necessarily, you might have some great employers that just love their employees, but at the same time, if you up and leave, they're going to find somebody else. So they're a commodity. They're something that they can use and get rid of if they don't need. You don't want to be a commodity. You want to be the valuable business owner. Number 4, IRS taxes 35% of your wages. So as an employee, automatically your wages are taken out of your pocket by the government up to 35%. Now there are different brackets inside the IRS scale of taxes, but imagine taking 35% of your income out of your pocket and given to the government. So if you made $100, imagine just $35 taken out of your pocket for no good reason to give to the government. Now, I'm not saying it's not good to pay your taxes. It's absolutely fine to pay your taxes, but you want to minimize how much taxes are taken out of your pocket. And you'll see in a little bit that being a business owner, being an investor, you'll have much less money coming out of your pocket. Also, when you do not work, you do not get paid. That's one of the biggest things about passive income that is absolutely amazing. I've gone on trips. I literally went on a 6-week trip to Japan with my family and got paid because my rental properties were working for me. I didn't have to do the work. I also took my family on a trip to Europe. We went through England and Scotland and France and Germany, Amsterdam, all these fantastic places, and still got paid. My rental property still made me money, even though I was not working. So your job is actually going to make you lose money, because if you don't work, you don't get paid. So these are some great reasons why you need to stop working for somebody else, how you need to stop trading your hours for dollars. Now, I want you to remember that JOB equals just over broke. You don't want to live your life just over broke. You want to live your life in abundance. And that's what rental properties can do. Now, think about these things. How would you like it if you got paid while you are, whether you are working or not? If you were working one day or not working a day, you are still getting paid. Your income doesn't depend on you actually working. How would you like that? I think it's fantastic. What if you were on a 6-week trip on a vacation to Italy, like I did when I took my family to either Japan or England or all these other great places we've gone to? What if you were playing with your children? Wouldn't that be awesome to get paid, to actually be making money while you're playing with your children, or going on a date with somebody, or sleeping? Wouldn't that be just absolutely amazing? Or when you are old and not able to work. Imagine being 75 years old and still making as much money as you were when you were 50 years old or 40 years old or 30 years old. Wouldn't that be absolutely amazing? Now, how would your life be if you had this? You had enough money to never work again. Wouldn't that be just fantastic? How would your life be? I mean, just think about how you would feel, how good you would feel if you had enough money to never work. You had enough time to do whatever you want. So you had hobbies, like if you love to go fishing, help the poor, or work at your church, or whatever it might be. You had enough time to give because you're not spending 40 plus hours, 50 plus hours at a job. You never needed to call in sick for work again. You never needed to have to answer a boss again. What if you had unlimited time to devote to your hobbies? What if you can give more time to volunteering, like we said earlier? How would your life be if you had much more time and much more money? What about control in your life? If you had more control, that comes down to you want to be the owner. Stop thinking about being an employee anymore. You want to be the owner, not the employee. You want to be the person that's actually making the money, employing the people that are making you money. Now I want to show you a little diagram here. This is from Robert Kiyosaki's book called The Cash Flow Quadrant. And in it, it shows 4 different quadrants. Let's go through them really quick. So the first quadrant that we're looking at, we could see an employee. That's the active type of work. You're actively working for your money. Where you work an hour, you get paid for an hour. You work 5 hours, you get paid for those 5 hours. You don't work, you don't get paid. Another one is very similar, is self-employed. So self-employed, they're trading time for money and starting over every day at zero. So think of somebody that cleans carpets for a living. You know, they have a small business where they do it themselves. They have their van. It's a great business. Don't get me wrong. You don't have a boss to answer to you, but you have many little bosses that you're basically, your customers are your bosses every single day. You have to go out and do it again. If you work that 1 hour, you don't get paid again the next time. Your customer is not going to keep paying you for not cleaning their carpets. This is self-employed. It's wholly better. It's so much better than being an employee, but it's not as good as if you were the business owner. Now, this is what you want to be. You want to be the business owner. An employee and self-employed, those are still active incomes, active earnings. Passive income is where you're the business owner. You're somebody that actually is the one employing people. You're getting other people to do work that makes you money. Now, here's where you want to be now, is the investor. You want to be the investor, and it shows 5% of the people in the world actually are the investors. So the business owners, the investors, they make money with or without an employee. So you want to be the one that is the investor, where you invest in businesses, you invest in rental properties, in commercial properties, in multifamily units, which like apartments. You want to be the investor where your money works for you. Your money is the one working, and without any more work from you, you make that money go to work by buying one rental property, and every single month it keeps working because that rental property makes you money. So this is the left side of the cash flow quadrant. Now, the employee desires job security, a steady paycheck, no financial risk, and the benefits provided by their job. They want those, retirement insurance, time off, sick days. Sense of entitlement is high with the employees. Like, they feel like they're entitled to a lot more than they're getting, which they are, because they're worth more than they're getting paid. And they trade hours for dollars. They also pay the highest income tax rate. And it's pretty amazing to think that you working an hour is taxed heavier than me buying one property and not working, and I get taxed less because of my rental properties. It's just the way that the tax code is written. So you want to take advantage of the tax code as well. So a sole proprietor is their own boss and are not dependent on other people for the financial security. These include doctors, lawyers, or anyone who's self-employed. They desire independence and tend to be controlling, not trusting others to do the work as good as they can. The income is tied down directly to how much work they do, and if they do not work, they do not get paid. Basically, they own a job. That's what it comes down to. They own a job, as well as each one of their customers is their boss. Now let's look at the other side of the cash flow quadrant. Other side, which is the passive side. Remember, the last side, employee and self-employed, those are the active. The right side is the passive earning. So the right side of the cash flow quadrant are the B's and I's, the business owners. They start businesses and hire employees and delegate as much as possible. They work on the business and find competent employees and people to work in the business. Working on the business means they're working to make the business better, to make it more profitable, to find new ways to grow their income, new ways to service their customers, basically new ways to make their company worth more. That's what business owners do. Small business people, like self-employed people, they work in the business. They actually do the work, and they don't focus on building the business. A business owner focuses on building the business. An investor looks for ways to make their money as well as the money of others work for them. They desire to work less so they can spend their time however they want while not being tied down to a job. Wouldn't that be amazing, to work whenever and however long you want and not being tied down to a job? I moved from California to Arizona because I wanted to, and I didn't need to look for a job. Man, you want to be on the passive income side, which is either the business owner or the investor. So if you want to be rich, stop thinking like a poor person. Stop thinking about employee or self-employed. You should jump to the B or I side, the business or investor side of the quadrant right now, as fast as you can. If you start a business, you become an investor, do whatever you can to get to the right side where you're earning passive income. Here are a few things that I want you to remember. Every dollar you invest is in another employee working for you who makes more employees who do the same. So if I invest $10,000 into one property, I'm making money. That money's not gone. Even though I spent that $10,000, it's not like I just gave it away. I still own that $10,000 because my property owns that $10,000. And that $10,000 also making more money because of the cash flow coming in every single month. By being a passive investor, passive income investor, you live wherever you want. If you want to move to Hawaii, you can do that. If you want to move to Alaska, you can do that. If you want to move to Florida, wherever you want to live, you can do that because you're not tied down. You're not controlled by somebody else. You can do whatever you want. If you're a rich person, you can do whatever you want because you have the money and you also have the time. You can buy whatever you want. That's what rich people do. They have the ability to go out and have expensive dinners, to go out and buy nice cars, buy nice homes. They can do that because they have the income. Income comes in the mail, whether they work 60 hours a week or 1 hour a week. I personally work about an hour at most a month on my rental properties. That, like I said, at most. And that's usually when I get my statements, look over everything from my property managers, verify all the income, verify all expenses, and make sure that the properties are running well. And if there's any evictions I need to look at, whatever. It usually only takes about an hour of my month in order to run all of my properties. And I have dozens of properties. It's absolutely amazing. So I literally do not have to work ever again for a job. But at the same time, even the business that I own, I only work 1 hour a week. Work 1 hour a month. Isn't that crazy? It's absolutely amazing. Also, complete financial freedom. You're not tied down to a boss who's dangling that carrot in front of your face saying, hey, come over here and get this and do this while you're at it. They, with the carrot, can yank it away from you at any time, basically fire you. So they're holding that carrot of your job over your face so you stay working. You're completely financially free now to do whatever you want. You also, as an investor, pay the lowest of all tax rates. Like I said, earned income gets taxed at 35%. But if you have a rental property business as an investor, you pay 15%. It's the lowest rates out of all of the income tax brackets. You also have no liability because of corporations, because your corporations own everything. So all of my properties, I don't actually own them. I own the company that owns the properties. So if anybody tries to sue, they slip and fall on my property, they try to sue me, they can't sue me because I own the company. They can sue the company, which is totally fine. That's what's going to happen, is they're going to sue the company. But for me, I am able to not have any liability because my company owns everything. Also have complete control over everything because they own the corporations. I control whether or not I put a new washer or dryer inside of the property or replace the roof or whatever it might be on my properties. I control whether or not I do that. I'll give you an example. One of my properties, one of the lesser properties that I bought for $10,000, one side of the roof needed to be repaired, and instead of replacing the entire roof, I paid half and had just the one half done. Now, that's because I control my properties. So you're also not dependent on anyone for their lifestyle or freedom. You're not dependent on your boss or your customers or anything like that. You're only depending on yourself. As soon as their income from investments surpasses their wages, they retire. So if you think like a rich person, once your income from your investment properties, your rental properties, exceed your income from your job, then you can retire. Then you can quit. I quit my job when I was 37 years old. Think about that. I don't know how old you are right now, but imagine 8 years from now being able to literally quit your job and retire because your income from your rental property surpass the income from your job. Wouldn't that be absolutely amazing that in 8 years you can stop working? If you're 20 years old, at 28 years old, after 8 years, you'd be able to quit and never work a day in your life again for another job. Or if you're 50 years old, you're worried about retirement. If you start investing now, when you're 58 and you're possibly starting to draw on Social Security, you're going to have so much money that Social Security is going to be like a cherry on the top. You're like, hey, this is just extra money we can go to Hawaii with or whatever. You want to have your investments grow so that they exceed your wages from your job, and then you can retire. Also, you're not going to be dependent on Social Security, 401k, your IRA, or your pension. I'll tell you right now that I literally liquidated all of my IRAs, all my stocks, all my pensions. I got rid of all that because I wanted to take that money with penalties out so I can buy more rental properties because I make so much more money than any of the stocks or 401ks, IRAs, or anything like that. So I cashed all that out, even with the penalties, to buy more properties, and it's worked out so well. So passive is work not required. That's what your passive income is going to be. Income is cash flow, money coming into your pocket every single month. So passive income is not work not required to have cash flow and money coming in your pocket every single month. Absolutely amazing. So remember, you want to be the owner of a rental property business. Now, I'm going to say that I personally hire property managers so that they do the work, so I don't even have to think about it. They just send me a statement every single month and I verify things, but they find the tenants, they fix up the properties, they worry about those 2 a.m. calls about the toilet not working, they worry about the evictions and all that sort of stuff. I want to be the business owner, so I employ a property manager. I pay him well, but at the same time, all that money goes to him for me not having to do a thing. I don't even have to lift a finger. They do all the work. So here's your next steps. This is the end of day 3. Good job. You're making through it. Watch for day 4 of the real estate investing course and how to quit your job. We're going to look at how to actually quit your job. What's the step-by-step process as you're going to quit the job? Because as soon as you have enough money, why not quit? Why keep working 40 hours a week when you don't need to? Great job. We finish up with day 3. I'll see you on day 4. Imagine again, in 8 years, you can actually quit your job because of all the rental properties you have. It's amazing, isn't it? Okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow. And that is it for this one. Remember, get my real estate investing course completely for free. Text the word rental to 33777 or go to masterpassiveincome.com/free course. And if you got anything out of this, I would appreciate it if you went to Apple or Spotify or wherever you're listening and give it a 5-star review. So hopefully more people will be able to learn how to invest in real estate and change their life. All right, we'll see you guys in the next one.